Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Reactions by Jeff. Right now, I'm going to be looking at Laura Fabian's Extrait de Yentl from her Pure concert. I'm looking forward to this. Again, as you can see, I'm a little gray, so I've seen it in its original format. I've seen Yentl, and I grew up with Barbra Streisand, and so I'm very interested to see her take on this particular classic song. And again, I don't expect anything less than perfection because, well, she's perfect. So, um, without any further ado, let's take it away.
Flickering candle illuminate the night where your spirit illuminates my soul.
I'm going to pause it here for a second. For anybody who knows or has ever tried to sing along with this is a very difficult. This is a difficult song, and I wanted to point this out. These two songs are very difficult in terms of their vocal lines and their delivery. There's a lot of minors and a lot of accidentals and a lot of notes that sort of would normally sound like they don't belong, but they do. And so um, I'm listening for a lot of that sort of stuff too, because this is a great pairing for her because she has the vocal chops to get this taken care of, and she's showing right away that she can own this song. So I'm going to take it back just a little bit, and then we'll continue on.
Illuminates my soul. Papa, can you hear me? Papa, can you see me? Papa, can you find me in the night? Papa, are you near me? Papa, can you see me? Papa, can you help me not be frightened? Looking at the skies, I seem to see a million eyes. Which ones are yours? Where are you now that yesterday has waved goodbye and closed the doors?
I'm going to take it back. Her breath control, her volume control, her dynamic control, always on point, and this is what I was looking for in this particular version. And in her interpretation, I listened for breath, I listened for all the things that an artist does when they come to a performance to make the song become their own. And I grew up with Barbra Streisand, so I listened for her breath control, her dynamics, her richness, her fullness of her voice. That's what I listened to with Barbra Streisand, and that's why Laura Fabian can carry this particular song. And I'm going to say that repeatedly over time. Take it out on me in the comments if you need to. But this, yes, I'm loving this a lot. So I'm going to go back, and we're going to continue on.
Looking at the skies, I seem to see a million eyes. Which ones are yours? Where are you now that yesterday has waved goodbye and closed the doors? The night is so much darker, the wind is so much colder, the world I see is so much bigger now that I'm alone. Papa, please forgive me. Try to understand me. Papa, don't you know I had no choice? Can you hear me praying? Anything I'm saying, even though the night is filled with voices, I remember everything you taught me, every book I've ever read. May all the books and all the words help me to face what lies ahead. The trees are so much taller, and I feel so much smaller. The moon is twice as lonely, and the stars are half as bright.
In the comments from my last, or one of the previous Laura Fabian reactions I did, someone was talking about, and it was about how the French critics always said that she was yelling all the time, and this was a very powerful section. And the thing that those critics did not quite understand, and this song actually exemplifies this, and a lot of her work exemplifies this, is that when you go soft, really soft. And when you go loud, you go really loud. And it's that difference between the loudness and the softness that creates the momentum within a song. And this particular passage here, and this entire song, again, thus far, we haven't even gotten to the second half, or yeah, there's a second half of this, right? That she's using her vocal power in the high notes so that you can show off the low notes, and then the low soft notes in order to show the high loud notes. And it's that difference. It's like in weather, when you have a lot of heat and cold, they're going to come and meet each other. It's the same thing with her voice and with singing and overall, is that if you're going to go loud, go loud. When you go soft, and it's that difference between the two that's going to create the emotional intensity that's needed. And I blithered on a lot about this, but I'm going to go back a little bit, and we'll take it from here. But that's something that I love about her, is that dynamic control of loud means loud and soft means soft, and you move from one to the other, and you use them to bring about the emotion of the song. And this is something that Dimash, and yes, I know I get yelled at for bringing up Dimash. He has nothing to do with this. He probably wasn't even born yet. Well, he was 3. But this is the thing, that when he looks up to her, this is the stuff that he's gleaned from her performances, and he also does this as well. So this is a technique that he has borrowed from her. And this is how mentorship works.
May all the books and all the words help me to face what lies ahead. The trees are so much taller, and I feel so much smaller. The moon is twice as lonely, and the stars are half as bright. Papa, how I love you. Papa, how I need you. Papa, how I miss you. Kissing me good It all began the day I found that from my window I could only see a piece of sky. I stepped outside, looked around. I never dreamed had come. Papa, can you hear me? Try my wings. Can you understand me? And even though I knew at any moment I could fall, I fell to the most. Papa, can you see me? Amazing things. Can you understand me? The things you can't imagine if you've never flown at all. Though it's safer to stay on the ground, sometimes we're dead to rise. They're the sweetest of pleasures are found. No matter where I go, there'll be memories that tuck at my sleeve. But they were all so big.
I'm gonna pause it right there. The thing that I noticed in this particular section here, and I couldn't stop because the momentum of the song kept going and going and going, and that's a credit to her and her ability to interact with her arrangement and the orchestra behind her. Um, but her ability to move across the stage and her ability to bring her body into the performance is amazing. She has that whole stage to herself, and she doesn't just stay within 8 square feet of the stage, and that is amazing. I mean, most a lot of artists may choose to have just stood there, may have just chosen to stand there, and she chose not to. She's not that type of person. She is a very highly emotive person. She's a high touch culture person, and another way of looking at it is she wants to bring all of her energy to you. And so in this part here, she's moving around the stage to show that anxiety, that tension, that joy. And so I always find it great to see artists embody their songs and bring the scene to us. See if I can find a place to bring it up.
Flown at all, though it's safer to stay on the ground. Sometimes we're dead to rise. They're the sweetest of pleasures are found. No matter where I go, there'll be memories that tuck at my sleeve. But they were all so big, more to question, yet more to believe. So tell me where is that someone who will turn to look at me and to want to share my every sweet imagined possibility? The more I live, yes, the more I learn. The more I learn, the more I realize. The less I know, each step I take. Papa, of a voice now, each page I turn. Papa, of a choice now, it's my life tremble only means the more I have to go. What's wrong with wanting more? If you can have wherever there is, why settle for just a piece of sky? Papa, I can see you. Papa, I can feel you. Papa, I can hear you. Papa, watch me
So I I always, of course, that last note always is going to get it, but again, I never worry about her when it comes to that sort of stuff. When someone said that this was supposed to happen, I just had to schedule it. This particular response had to happen because I knew that she has the chops to compete with, if not excel at, Barbara Streisand. It um there were moments in the song where she was better than Barbara's version. And I hope that people tell me that the whole song was better than Barbara's version, and that's perfectly awesome. But there were moments where I was like, wow, that's actually bigger, that's deeper, that's rounder, that's just fuller. And again, if this was 1997, I have to do some research. When I was on YouTube and I was looking for a version, I saw a whole bunch of stuff of 1997. I saw so I'm not I could be wrong about the years. So if I'm wrong, but if this was 1997, she would have been 27 years old, and so um, that would have put her in a different age frame from Barbara Streisand by about 10 years. But regardless, Barbara can still outsing a lot of us. So, but again, I never worry about Lara Fabian taking on songs that are challenging because, again, she's been trained, she's been given the tools, she's been given the venues to explore and hone her craft. So I never really worry about that. But that last note and her ability to take the stage and own the stage, and in that last note be able to crumple herself down into that pose at the end really brought us all into that performance and into that last note and into all the emotion that goes along with it. And that's what makes Laura Fabian amazing. She reminds me a lot of one of my favorite musical theater people, Linda Eder. If anybody ever knew her, that's fine. If you don't, she did musical theater, and in the '90s, she did Jekyll and Hyde, The Scarlet Pimpernel. She was married to the one of the composers of those musicals. But this is one of this is what I know. That like people who can sing and people who can come to a performance and accept a challenge and rise to it and excel at it, and they have the chops to do it. And so this is where I'll be honest. I think a lot of millennials didn't get this in their lives, and so when they meet Laura Fabian for the first time, or they meet Whitney Houston for the first time, or they meet a lot of other artists for the first time, they're sort of blown away. But for people my age, we're not, because we were surrounded by people like this most of our lives, and so um, uh, that's a that's a gift that my my generation was given that other generations are just now seeing. So I appreciate this particular video, and I appreciate this song, and I appreciate her version of it. And I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any comments, please leave it down below. This reaction has gone on a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I'm always amazed at her ability to produce what she does. And so with that, I will leave it go. I hope you guys all enjoy your day, and as always, be safe.